Hey yo, the Faniac is back and I have another review for you. Today I'm going all Whovian out on you. In case you don't know, I am a big time Doctor Who fan. Gotta love that show. Oh man, one of my top three favorites, hands down. Okay, but I did want to talk about the new-ish Doctor Who episode. I am posted this a bit late, sorry in advance, but there is stuff I want to talk about because I like Doctor Who. In terms of what I think overall, love Russell T Davies. I feel like he brought out the best of Doctor Who in the first four seasons of Modern Who, hands down. Moffat was a bit of a roller coaster, but he really gripped it all together with some nice, good twists, and more importantly, really good, sweet character moments throughout. Gotta love that. In terms of Chibnall, season 11 was really boring for me, with only 3 episodes really getting me interested. And there's 10 episodes altogether. Kind of a bad sign. But I laid out hope that maybe season 12 could grip me in. Sadly, it did not. I will give credit, though, that at least season 12 was able to have a consistent story throughout the season. What really bogged me about season 11 was that it kind of had a plot going with the first 2 episodes, and they kind of ditched it until the very last episode. Why the hell do you bring it back out of nowhere? That's kind of stupid. Okay, so I will give credit to season 12, and at least does that, but sadly, it does a lot more worse. Whereas the other episodes in season 11 could be maybe passable at most, these ones are just straight up infuriating. With, of course, the most famous one being The Timeless Children. You want to lose fans by retconning a whole era of Doctor Who? This is the episode for you. Ooh, yeah, you're gonna lose lots of people this way, Chibnall. And I feel like you already did. And then it was able to kind of reel me back in Revolution of the Daleks. I thought it was a really cool, fun episode, but still kind of had a very flat emptiness at the end when Graham and Ryan left. I felt nothing after they left. Okay. And then Flux came in, almost saved the day, and I say almost because I actually got interested in this. Village of the Angels, in my opinion, is a good, really good standard. One of Chibnall's best written episodes, in my opinion. I loved the concept of Flux. It was able to keep me interested, invested, and I was eager to see what was going on. The bad news is that it kind of leaves some plot holes with the Division and the actual Flux and Carvanista and the Sontarans and the Cybermen and the Daleks. Holy crap, what the hell am I talking about? There's 6 episodes to talk about of this. Oh yeah, and Unit comes in the last 2 episodes. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to go on, but I'll post that in another review. And essentially, I wasn't fully okay with how Flux ended, but I did like the overall feeling it was giving me. Like, I could actually watch and enjoy Doctor Who for a good time. A good long while. I could actually enjoy it for once. I like that. And then Eve of the Daleks came. I thought it was a pretty fun concept. I really it kept me interested until the end. Like I said with the other previous one, it had a very, very flat ending. This time, in my opinion, it was very underwhelming and kind of left a real emptiness this time. At least, though, it was entertaining for some of it. But then Legend of the Sea Devils came in to say, hey, we could do a lot worse. Because it has a pretty cool concept with bringing back the Sea Devils who haven't been present, I think, for a couple decades since Classic Who. So the idea of bringing them back for a more modern audience is actually a pretty cool, clever concept, especially with the 60th anniversary coming on the way. But sadly, the plot is non-existent. The characters they come across are flat, and more importantly, the comedy is paper thin. In other words, it's forgettable. I keep forgetting it's an actual episode, despite me remembering, oh yeah, I remember the opening. Because Sea Devils, it's pretty much it. Yeah, that's the only thing you're probably going to take away from this. Pretty much it. But then, of course, Power of the Doctor comes, in my opinion, to the rescue. Because I can easily assure you, this is, in fact, the highlight of the Chibnall era. I was kind of worried since it kind of started out weak, but thankfully it ends on a high note. Chibnall, thank you for actually doing something awesome with Doctor Who for once. Thank you for that. With that said, though, what's the story about the new Doctor Who episode? Well, with paintings going missing, the Doctor actually coming to maybe a treaty finally with the Daleks, and also with the Master back on the rise, lots of crap is going on, and now with also the imminent future foretold of her death as in lieu of the David Tennant era for some weird reason, lots of crap is going on right now. Dan has left, Ace and Tegan are back in the picture, and more importantly, other doctors are coming in. Wait, what the heck is going on here? Lots of stuff. That's essentially what's going on in this episode. In order for me to break it down, it's going to be a little bit, but hopefully you can stay with me. The episode first starts out with the doctor, Yaz, and Dan, sorry, going on a train as in lieu of Mummy of the Orient Express, except more of a freight train. Still love the reference, though, in terms of the train in space. Love that. But I will admit, it was kind of cool to see that. I thought the action and concept was really fun and really cool. Bad news is they break back the Time Lord Cybermen. God dang! Just when I thought they were out of my way. I have my own issues with them, but I'll save that for another video. And they apparently came to steal a little girl who's actually a living universe in disguise that they need to power a Death Star that can turn Earth into steel. I'll save that for later. What's important is that the Doctor and Yaz failed. Dan has a near-death experience, and he's like, peace, I'm out. And like the first 10 minutes, he leaves. Are you telling me that he stuck around for 8 episodes through thick and thin, and all of a sudden you realize, oh yeah, good night, bye? It's stupid and dumb. And more importantly, why? Look, I'm not open to the concept of a companion leaving the Doctor because of fearing death. That's fine. That has happened before. More importantly, it was done better. Let's go back to the classic Russell T Davies era and examine Martha Jones. Martha Jones was a really awesome companion, very underrated in my opinion. But more importantly, it was heavily hinted throughout Season 3 that being with the Doctor was a very dangerous time and very dangerous experience. She could possibly die. So when the last 2 episodes came, she comes to that realization. She realizes how everything has turned up in her life, and she's like, no, I can't risk it. Me and my family almost died. I'm sorry. At least there was something building up to it. A whole season dedicated to her character and to her realization. In terms of Dan's realization, he just figures her down in that episode in the first 10 minutes. Bye. And he does come back in the last 10 minutes, but I'll save that for later. And in terms of the actual cool parts of this episode, Tegan and Ace, 2 classic Doctor Who companions, they are back. They are freaking awesome. Always love seeing classic Who companions. Just a shame that Sarah Jane, the actress Elizabeth Sladen, you could definitely tell they wanted her so bad. Sadly, they can't because, well, I leave it to you to know that. But more importantly, we get a lot of really good stuff. The Master is back and he is better than ever. You know why? Because he is disguised cleverly as Rasputin. That's right. Oh my gosh. And this comes to a very, very hilarious halt later. That might just be the best part of the movie episode. I'll talk to you later. I'll mention it later. But for now, paintings are going missing. They talked to Kate Stewart a unit about it. She was able to contact the Doctor, who recently was put in contact with the Daleks because apparently one of them is betraying his own kind. She doesn't trust him despite her coming across many rogue Daleks before. Doesn't matter, I guess, at this moment. So she's contemplating all this while dealing with the Master. She goes to the Master, who is apparently teaching a bunch of miniaturized people in somewhere. And she has Unit arrest him after he tells her that she is going to die. No, she will be erased from all existence, while also telling her that the Cybermen and Daleks are up to something simultaneously. Okay? And also apparently that he's here and in 1916 or something in Russia at the same time because he cloned himself off screen somehow. I don't know. A lot of stuff's going on. I need to get through this. But they lock up the Master, but turns out that's exactly what he wanted because he carried a miniaturized Cyberman in his pocket. We now just found out that he can unminiaturize them despite him confirming that that doesn't work. He can kill people with that. You know what? It has some cool stuff later. I'll give it a pass on some limits. With that said, the Doctor is now in space trying to figure out what the Death Star is trying to do because they find out that the living universe is powering a giant cyber planet that is going to hurl a ray at Earth that will turn it all to steel, thus exterminating all life on Earth, while also simultaneously having the Daleks erupt all volcanoes, destroying life on Earth. I think they erupt the volcanoes to then have the ray turn off the volcanoes. It's weird stuff going on. They're too much for me. Or at least too much to talk about. But with that said, lots of cool stuff does happen. Like when the Doctor gets captured by the Cybermen and is taken to the Master, and he decides to go old school and decides to give her the most greatest punishment of all time, forced regeneration. But what's the twist? Well, apparently, funniest part of the movie, he literally puts on the song Rasputin as he dances to it out of nowhere, just starts doing the Russian dance, starts jigging away, and we see the funniest moment as the Dalek and Cybermen look at each other like, the hell are you doing, dude? Might just be the funniest scene I think Chibnall has ever brought to screen. Man, I am fully there for it. I already see this becoming a meme in the future. But more importantly, the Master switches his mind with the Doctor as now he forces the Doctor to regenerate into the Master, who I guess is now in the Doctor's body. Yeah. But Yaz finds out, takes the Master, dumps him off on a planet. We cut back to the cyber planet where we find Vinder from Fluxus back because the plot needed him. And we now go back to that capital with apparently Unit, like I said earlier, a lot of stuff's going on, with Unit headquarters being invaded by the Cybermen. That's right, Kate Stewart has told Ace to go get off the building while Tegan is just going down trying to figure out how to stop the Cybermen, while Kate tries to stall the Cybermen by getting converted into a cyber man herself. Good planning, I guess. But more importantly, we get, in my opinion, the real highlight of this episode. That's right, the classic Doctors are back. Oh yeah, we get some really good cameos. We get David Bradley back as the first Doctor, Peter Davison as the fifth Doctor, Colin Baker as the sixth Doctor, Sylvester McCoy as the seventh Doctor, and Paul McGann as the eighth Doctor, as they all kind of morph from one to another, talking to the 13th Doctor in her own mind palace or dream or whatever. I don't care. It's just awesome to see them on the big screen, or just the screen again. They look like they're themselves today, but I will admit I did almost get warm. I really felt warm inside when they had really nice moments with the fifth Doctor meeting up with Tegan, and then the seventh Doctor meeting up with Ace. Just giving them closure, having a nice final last meeting. It really felt really nice to have. And it all comes to a very complicated situation of which we now, through complicated means, talking to a Doctor hologram, we go back to retrieve the Master, bring him back to where he was, shoot down all the Cybermen through complicated hologram-ish stuff, shoot the Master, and then import TARDIS energy-ish, I guess, into the device that was used to regenerate the Doctor, to degenerate her back to the 13th Doctor. And then we cut back to them stopping the volcanoes with the actual Death Star ray. Oh gosh. Lots of stuff, I tell you. But then it all comes to a very what the heck is going on here conclusion when the Master reveals, "No, I'm back, baby!" And he zaps her with the ray, and thus we now know that the 13th Doctor is at her last hole. She must regenerate. Yes! Sorry. Sorry, no offense. It's always exciting to see who the next Doctor is going to be. At least for me it is. Always awesome. And I will admit, it is kind of sweet to have the Doctor looking around at her fam, I guess. And make a nice closure. We get Graham back for no reason that they wanted to include him in the plot. We don't even get Ryan. We just get Graham. Because guess even Ryan didn't even want to be in this episode. But I will admit, this was a nice scene at the end where the Doctor says goodbye to Yaz, and then Yaz apparently finds out there's a meeting with former Doctor Who companions as we get a whole roster of them back together. We get Jojo Grant, Mel, Ian Chesterton, one of the original companions back, just talking with them. Oh gosh, it was so awesome. We get to see Graham, Yaz, Dan, and also Tegan and Ace sitting around talking, as well as with Kate, all in a circle, just about their adventures with the Doctor. Very nice. But then, it all comes to a very, very satisfying close as we get, in my opinion, the coolest regeneration yet. Drumroll, please. The Doctor finally lands her TARDIS. Oh my gosh, she actually did a smart move for once. Yes, good job for you. And then she finally decides to go on a cliff, regenerate, and then we get the biggest mind twist I was never expecting in all my life. That is right, people. David Tennant is back because he is the 14th Doctor. I'm just excited. And that's where we end for this episode. I think from there you can see if you could get into this episode or not. For me, I feel like this episode has its problems, but man, I feel like it really comes through with outshining with a lot of really awesome cameos and nice touching scenes between former companions and old Doctors, showing and passing the torch back over in terms of looking forward to the future for the 60th anniversary celebrations coming. And man, I'm just going to say this, it actually makes me happy to be a Doctor Who fan again. Like, I'm actually really looking forward, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen after this. For a while, I never thought that was going to happen again, but finally, I can safely say, it's just awesome to be a Doctor Who fan. Or I should say Whovian. It's just awesome. And with that, I will gratefully give Doctor Who, The Power of the Doctor, 3.5 out of 5 lightsabers. In my opinion, it does have a lot of problems. It similarly doesn't have as developed companions as I would like. Some companions leave early. The plot is really muddled, a lot of busyness going from here and there, and you really need to follow the episode if you're really going to get into it, or just understand what the heck is going on. And I also want to say that this is the longest Doctor Who episode yet, clocking in at, I think, 87 minutes. It's almost like a feature-length movie. But with that said, I feel like it all comes together with a very awesome finale, while still a bit muddled, still very awesome, has a nice, great send-up, and finally acknowledges and respects Doctor Who lore and past characters. That's as much as I could want from a Chibnall written episode, as well a finale at that. Considering the low bar he set to begin with, he goes out with a high note, and that's as much as I could ask for from this era. With that said, what did you think about this new Doctor Who episode? Did you think it really sends off Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, and does it close out her era perfectly? I personally feel like he could have maybe done a bit more of the character to flesh out what her past was with the Division. Maybe we'll get something like that in an audio drama on Big Finish. I would be really interested in seeing what that would look like. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you excited for the 60th anniversary coming next year? Or are you? What are your thoughts on David Tennant as the 14th Doctor? Really awesome. Maybe could have put Ncuti Gatwa in there. I have my own thoughts about that. But hey, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please like and subscribe. And stay tuned for more reviews as they are on the way. For now, peace out.